You're on. You're on.
Our Unitarian Universalist bylaws affirm 6 values centered in love and inseparable from each other. On the 5th Sunday of the season, we call to mind the 5th such value, generosity. We cultivate a spirit of gratitude and hope. We covenant to freely and compassionately share our faith, presence, and resources. Our generosity connects us to one another in relationships of interdependence and mutuality. This week, following our general theme of food and community, we invite you to pass the peace with the following phrases from around the world wishing you good eating. In France, your food would be served with bon appetit. And in Puerto Rico, they might wish you buen provecho. Please greet and respond to each other with welcome and abundance.
Bon appetit.
I like it when they're shorter, like the Spanish one.
Bon appetit. Merci.
Bon appetit, Ben.
So I've always thought it'd be great. Bon appetit. Up yours.
Please remain standing for our opening hymn, number 69 in your gray hymnal. Give thanks. They can't hear me? No? Closer to the mic. Please remain standing for our opening hymn, number 69. Give thanks in your gray hymnal.
Good morning. I'm Elizabeth Williams, she, her, your celebrant this morning.
And I'm Louise Alcorn, she, her, and I will be your waitress, or service leader.
A special welcome to our visitors. If you are here with children, there is childcare, or feel free to keep them seated with you or utilize our play area in the back of this room.
Our First Unitarian Church is located on land that has been home to humans for 12,000 years, starting with people of woodland culture and later the Iowa, Sauk, and Meskwaki. Other animals once roamed these lands in much larger numbers, such as the American bison, whose massive presence was an essential component of our unique prairie landscape. As we enter this space, the ghosts of humans and other animals past are among us. We are called to join in the work of education, reparation, and healing for all species.
Centering ourselves in the cosmos tonight, the moon is waning crescent. Mercury has been in retrograde for a few days, if you follow such things. The moon will be new on Thursday. For newcomers to our congregation who may be curious to learn a little more about us, every first Sunday of the month we have a curiosity conversation after the service. The next one will be on Sunday, August 3rd.
Today's theme is food and community. We'll share how food and feeding has helped shape the work of social justice, which is part of our church's covenant, which you will hear in a moment. Food has also been an essential part of how we've created, maintained, and reconstituted our church community for over a century. If you're not hungry by the end of this hour, we've not done our job. And now we light our chalice with the correct words.
On the second Sunday of the season, we dedicate our chalice to our value of generosity. Please join with me in the unison chalice lighting words by Katie Sivani Gelfund in your order of service or on the screens. We light our chalice as a symbol of gratitude as we celebrate the abundance of our lives together. In this sanctuary, we harvest bushels of strength for one another and offer our crop with the hands of compassion and generosity. In the authentic and gentle manner of our connections, we cultivate a simple sweetness to brighten our spirits. May we be grateful for the ways we nourish and uplift each other, for it is the sharing of this hallowed time together that sustains us. We are a people of covenant, not of creed, and we express our covenant in our denomination's bylaws, our bond of union, our mission, and our relational covenant. Please join me in speaking the relational covenant of First Unitarian Church of Des Moines. We covenant to care for our own well-being, each other's well-being, and the well-being of our community as a whole. We will recognize the inherent worth and dignity of all, be respectful and kind, valuing the gifts and individuality of all. Listen with empathy and consider the impact of our words and actions. Be patient and understanding with each other. Find a pathway and work for reconciliation.
Our responsive reading is We Are Grateful by Amy Kindred. It is not in your hymnal. I found it on the interwebs. I love it. It will be on the screens. I will say the words in white. Please respond with those in yellow. During this reading, this is really responsive, you will be asked to name those intangible things for which you are grateful. Where it says, speak your gratitudes, you will speak them aloud or silently. Let's begin. Of all the gifts in all the world,
For love, we are grateful.
of all the gifts in all the world,
For helping hands, we are grateful.
of all the gifts in all the world,
For food, we are grateful.
may we remember that the best gifts don't arrive wrapped in paper and bows. For love, helping hands, food, and so much more, including we are grateful. Amen, and may it be so.
Today's story is Food Fight, a Forbidden Relationship. Let me tell you a story about a little fruit.
And a little vegetable.
A forbidden friendship. You see, Mushroom and I were best friends, but we had a big problem.
For as long as anyone could remember, fruits and vegetables had been fighting.
Keep your moldy mushroom away from our gorgeous grape.
Your grape is gross. Our mushroom is magnificent.
It made us really sad.
And things were only getting worse.
First, Broccoli stole Banana's peel and left it right where Orange was jogging.
Beep,
Beep.
beep,
Slip!
Then Apple and Pear found the potato masher and used it for revenge.
No one could even remember why the fight had started.
But everyone had plenty of reasons to keep it going. You fruits live in a fancy bowl. We're stuck in the bottom drawer.
And how come kids take apples to teachers, huh? Why not a potato for once? If one more person picks me up and pretends I'm a phone, I'm gonna go bananas.
So we started sneaking off behind the coffee pot to be friends in secret.
What can we do to stop this fight?
Only the wise old cheese would know something like that.
Do you think he's even real?
Well, he's our only hope. So we packed our bags and climbed into the fridge.
We hiked past leftover lasagna and cold spaghetti.
We trudged through yogurt quicksand.
And blizzards that blew in from the freezer.
When I fell, you helped me up.
When you were tired, I said, "You're not just a fun guy. You're a strong guy, too." Get it? Fun guy?
We crept past bad eggs.
You must be yokin'. I'm hard-boiled.
Until finally, there he was.
The wise old cheese.
He was moldy. He was mustached. He smelled awful. Oh, great cheese, only you can stop the fighting.
Let me think about it.
And then he fell asleep again.
What?
That's it?
We trudged back. Fruits and vegetables were still fighting.
We said goodbye.
But as soon as we turned to wave one last time, there, a glowing light, a cheesy pawn.
It was him.
Fruits, vegetables. These two tiny morsels climbed all the way to the top shelf.
No way, no one's ever made it that far.
That's amazing. You're not so bad, Onion.
You're making me cry in a good way.
And just like that,
They realized they had more in common than they thought.
maybe the wise old cheese was right.
Thank you, wise cheese. You made them stop.
Oh no, that was you two. I just showed them where, and look. And poof,
He was gone.
in a stinky yellow cloud.
Now, fruits and vegetables get along most of the time.
But when things get tense,
Wise old cheese,
we need your help again.
Or maybe we just need a grape and a mushroom.
Best friends
Best friends.
who made it all the way to the top shelf.
Thank you.
Chapter 25, The Empire Strikes Back. Italy in the middle of the 16th century. A new hope. Innovative thinking about Christian doctrine was going on in southern Italy and the Republic of Venice. But then comes the second movie, The Empire Strikes Back, and the Church of Rome. Rome did indeed strike back. In 1542, the Inquisition was deployed in Italy. It found lack of faith disturbing. In southern Italy, the Neoplatonic Academy of Bernardo Ochino and other similar groups almost immediately ceased to exist. Among the Italian religious reformers that fled the Italian Inquisition, two are of particular note, Giorgio Biandrata and Lelio Sozzini. Biandrata would go to Poland and, as we have seen, to Transylvania, sowing anti-Trinitarianism and support for religious toleration. The other Italian important to Unitarian history who fled Italy during this period was Lelio Sozzini. Born in 1525 in Siena, trained as a lawyer, Lelio Sozzini moved to Venice at age 21. His great passion was to relate human law to the law of God. Toward this end, he carefully studied Scripture, which study produced a growing conviction that the Church of Rome had gone over to the dark side, fundamentally conflicting with both Scripture and reason. Then Lelio discovered the writings of Miguel Serveto, whose 1531 book on the errors of the Trinity was not suppressed as successfully as the Church wished. It convinced Lelio Sozzini to become a Jedi Padawan. To abandon the law and give himself entirely to the study of religion. In 1547, with the Italian Inquisition closing in on rebel bases, anti-Trinitarian congregations in Venice, Lelio Sozzini fled to Switzerland and then to England, where in 1548 he met Ochino, who had earlier fled Italy. When Lelio Sozzini died in 1562 at the age of 37, he left behind little more than a trunk of books and manuscripts, fatefully inherited by his nephew Fausto Sozzini.
Our special music today is gifted by member Catherine Vance on violin.
Good morning.
Hi, Jim.
I'm Jim Carty, he, him, a pastoral care associate for our congregation. You are invited to call upon the pastoral care team if you're going through any significant transition in your life, just to talk it over, just for a listening ear. Reach out to us at pastoralcareteam@ucdsm.org. And that's the team now there on the screens. If you recognize anyone after service, you can approach any of us. You can also request assistance or submit a joy or sorrow through the Caring Community page on our website, or by speaking to me or any member of the pastoral care team. We haven't had any joys and sorrows shared with us this week, but we want to keep this space, this time, to recognize all of you are holding with you. As we speak on the joy in food and community today, we also want to acknowledge that, according to the remarkable Map the Meal Gap study from Feeding America, 1 in 8 Iowans and 1 in 6 Iowa children are facing food insecurity in 2025. May we soon close this gap. Please share aloud or in writing the names of those you are carrying in your heart today. We light 3 candles. We.
It's a team.
One for the joys and sorrows shared aloud, one for those shared in writing, and one for those held silently among us. This past week, the poet Andrea Gibson died. We are going to turn to them for some wisdom to meditate on, followed by a moment of silence.
How the worst day of my life became the best. When I realized the storm was inevitable, I made it my medicine. Took 2 snowflakes on the tongue in the morning, 2 snowflakes on the tongue by noon. There were no side effects, only sound effects. Reverb added to my lifespan, an echo that asked, what part of your life's record is skipping? What wound is on repeat? Have you done everything you can to break out of that groove? By nighttime, I was intimate with the difference between tying my laces and tuning the string section of my shoes, made a symphony of walking away from everything that did not want my life to sing, felt the love for myself so consistent, metronomes tried to copyright my heartbeat. Finally understood I am the conductor of my own life and will be even after I die. I, like the trees, will decide what I become. Porch swing, church pew, an envelope that must be lit to be closed, kinky choice. But I didn't close. I opened and opened and opened until I could imagine the pain was the sensation of my spirit not breaking, that my mind was a parachute that could always open in time, that I could wear my heart on my sleeve and never grow out of that shirt, that every falling leaf is a tiny kite with a string too small to see, held by the part of me in charge of making beauty out of grief.
From Norman Fisher's book, Training in Compassion, number 24 is Practice When Distracted. We are training the mind, and training takes discipline. We have to try to pay attention, to stick to our commitments, to repeat the training disciplines, the slogans, many times, heaping on with them even when we don't feel like it. But discipline is not an unpleasant yoke administered by a drill sergeant. The harsher the discipline, the more inspired we are to rebel. Instead, the discipline of mind training is gentle, permissive, and easygoing. Distraction and non-effort are inevitable and must be used as part of the effort we are making. We don't struggle against it, we cooperate with it. Sometimes we need to relax and be spacious and open, and this too is part of the training. So distraction isn't a problem, it's part of the practice if we make it part of the practice. Keep the thread of your training going even in lax times, even when we're daydreaming, losing track of ourselves, or enjoying the ball game or a glass of wine. Make practice your whole life. There are no breaks. Or to put it another way, practice is just one long break from the tension and anxiety that we used to take for granted as the essential flavor of our lives. There's a time for hard focus and a time for soft focus. Practice is life, including everything in your life, even the distractions. When you think you are distracted, when you think you have forgotten about your practice, remember this slogan: practice when you're distracted. As soon as you know your state of distraction, you are practicing. You have remembered your practice. Distraction, laziness, indulging in stuck emotions like anger, jealousy, and so on are all part of the practice. You fall down on the ground and you use the ground to get up. Using the ground to get up is remembering to notice the state you are in. As soon as you know your state, whatever that state is, you are practicing this slogan: practice when distracted.
We come now to the offering, recalling our value, generosity. We cultivate a spirit of gratitude and hope. We covenant to freely and compassionately share our faith, presence, and resources. Our generosity connects us to one another in relationships of interdependence and mutuality. And in the spirit of gratitude, we thank the hospitality team for providing us with abundance and nourishment. In gratitude, then, we give, for in gratitude we receive.
morning. Did you have a good breakfast? Okay, you're going to need it. We're going to talk about a lot of food. Okay.
Food, glorious food, hot corn dogs and mustard. Food, glorious food, lime jello and custard. Take it, Louise.
NPR's Michael Feldman, remember him? Used to say, every culture has a knish, meaning every culture had produced some food in pocket form to take down a mine or a hole or a pyramid or whatever. As a dumpling, samosa, and pasty enthusiast, I concur. Similarly, I believe that every religious culture has a potluck. You might bring hot dish for the monthly Bible study. You might bring knish for a bris or for a family sitting shiva. I'm told that in the South, fried chicken is its own religion, and schisms have erupted over potato salad recipes. In my UU childhood, we had the most marvelous project called Extended Family, which was created by the West Shore Church in Cleveland. It was a random grouping of singles and families, old and young, gay and straight, a bit like our circle suppers, but very hippie and 70s. We would meet a few times a year to eat and mingle. I only found out recently that our group stayed together years after others disbanded. I just thought that's what you did. I credit the menus, the most spectacular potlucks with vegetarian and vegan dishes before that was even a thing. I was a picky eater, but when my beloved church nursery teacher, Sherry, would encourage me to try this lovely dish that Myrna brought, I would, because I loved Myrna. We celebrate and commune and reconnect and mourn with food. This is human and universal. Our church, First Unitarian of Des Moines, has several beautiful examples of how we reconstitute via potluck, which we're going to highlight today. I'm actually going to start with a small piece from Sue Bridgeford. It's actually from Grant Bridgeford, her son. I'm not sure what year Bob Baker and Charlotte Shivers affiliated with First Unitarian, but Bob was the self-appointed and greatly appreciated king of the kitchen during coffee hour between the early and late services. Grant Bridgeford was about 10 and thoroughly resistant to Sunday school, much preferring to hang out at home with his dad, or better yet, just go to the woods. When Bob overheard the weekly argument as Mama Susan tried to wrestle Grant down the stairs next to the kitchen, Bob poked his head out and said, "Leave him with me." For the better part of 2 years, Grant's first stop was always the kitchen to help Chef Bob, knowing his reward was the first bowl of warm bread pudding. Do you remember Bob's bread pudding? Oh, I dream about it. Grant was able to feel useful and avoid the wrath of Mama. I also want to talk about broader things we've done around food that relate to our social justice. So first, Unity Circle Alliance. This informal social and general interest group brings in fascinating guest speakers on the third Thursday of the month. Their motto is, "We eat well, talk much, sit long, and laugh lots." I love that. My dream is to retire and join Unity Circle, literally, because the potlucks are epic. Unity Circle Alliance, or Unity Circle, began as a women's service group at First Unitarian in 1879. The group has a very proud heritage of contributions to our church, our city, our state, and our national culture. From the women's suffrage movement, remember Boone, to social issues in early Des Moines, through post-World War II support for war refugees via the National Unitarian Service Committee, and into the current group's monthly speakers. The organization has worked to improve church life and the lives of others in our community. Now, about their monthly potlucks. Okay, while prepping this service, I asked some church folks about their food memories. I got a lot. I had to pare it down a bit. No pun intended. The office staff here, without exception, mentioned the Unity Circle potlucks, which the staff enthusiastically attend. I garnered this short list of favorite foods from Unity Circle and other gatherings. I'm going to give you just a scatter shot here. Sarah Gunther's sourdough starter, Jane Swanson's Czech cheesecake, Lynn George's cookies, Carrie George's bread, really anything the Georges make. Dave Whitkey's pickles, Faith's banana bread, which people are constantly asking her to bring. And this is how at least 3 people described this last one. Mary Hayes baked beans. I'm not kidding. It was really funny. Unity Circle has expanded minds and stomachs for over a century. Long may they potluck.
Potluck. Did somebody say potluck?
Yeah.
Oh, well, that reminds me. There's one big potluck coming up. And when would that be? Does anyone remember?
August 2nd.
Yes. Got that. And what we need to know is how many people are coming, because you're bringing the potlucks, but we're providing the food, the hot dogs and beverages. So is anyone coming? All right, we need you to register RSVP. And if you haven't done that, we can help you out there after the service. Or if you have any questions.
This was your public service announcement. If this were a real food emergency, you would have been directed to the kitchen. Okay, I have a related reading that I could not resist. It's a poem called "We Thank You, God, for Potlucks" by Gary Kowalski. We thank you, God, for potlucks, where a multitude can cook with ingredients and spices that aren't from just one book. From casseroles and dumplings, hors d'oeuvre and canapé, pudding, sauces, pastas, to sensational flambés. How boring when there's just one dish or flavor to fit all. How yummy and much more delish when our feast's a free-for-all. Our faith is like a banquet, too, with many forms of seasoning, where Christians, Rastafarians, and Jews all do their separate reasoning. But all can share one table, break bread, and sit to eat, enriched by our diversity from pumpernickel to whole wheat. So we are our own blessing, our gratitudes made real, when we as friends can feed and serve each other in life's meal.
For today's service, we asked Bruce Martin to give us a reflection on his work with our social justice group focused on food insecurity, FEDS. And I'm going to read what Bruce had to say. FEDS stands for Feed Each Deserving Soul or Stomach. Let's defer to Reverend Garman's quibble about who's deserving by assuming that everyone is deserving. This organization emerged out of a workshop on social justice organized by Caesar Smith and Phyllis Swink in late 2007. We served our first meal at the shelter of Central Iowa in July 2008. This test run soon morphed into a regular monthly meal service. To date, we have prepared and served over 40,000 dinners, first at the shelter and later also at Trinity Methodist Church. This latter connection, now through the Children and Families Urban Ministry, we have recently restored after a pandemic-induced absence. The FEDS experience has proved meaningful for me in many ways. There is the obvious satisfaction from feeding hungry folks in need who seem to savor what we bring them. Equally important, I've enjoyed seeing church members meeting and becoming friends in the context of a shared project. I've appreciated the way we were able to unfailingly get the job done, as people stepped up to the plate to volunteer, to stand in when replacements were necessary, and to do whatever needed doing, either beforehand or on the spot. And of course, through regular Feds communications and encounters, I've gotten to know dozens of church members much better than I probably could have any other way. We started out with a cadre of dedicated volunteers, some of whom are still helping. Even a couple of people no longer connected with the church have valued the Feds experience enough to continue volunteering. And despite considerable turnover through these many years, the volunteer pool has grown. I can only hope that the Feds experience has been as satisfying for many Feds helpers as I've known it has been for me. I feel fortunate indeed to have been involved. And now, a special treat. See what I did there? Barb Royal will share some history of our church's fabulously fun food fair fundraiser.
I can't talk about the food fair without the hot dog hat. So, hi, I'm Barb Royal, and I'm here to tell you a story about food and fundraising, yes, but mainly a story about our amazing First Unitarian Church community. This is the story of the fabulously fun food fair fundraiser, which is really all about building a thriving community. And it is one of nearly biblical proportions. But first, I warn you, the pictures that you will see on the screens will be a real trip down the food fair memory lane for some people. And for newer people, I hope it will intrigue you about the many ways we've had fun over the years, and the good food. You'll also see several people who are no longer with us. And the sadness you may feel is a reflection of the community we have built together. Side note, there are 2 notebooks in the gathering area that you can see after the service. My goodness, what was, stay. I think that's monumental. There are 2 notebooks in the gathering area where you can see many of the photos that are going to show and more, as well as the offering lists from 1999 through 2025. I think we have some pictures to show, please. Bill? Are they up? Okay, cool. Now, back to my biblical story. In the beginning, in 1999, there was Bob. And Bob said, "There shall be a food fair, and I shall lead it." And he gathered friends to help make it happen. And it came to pass in December of that year, and much fun was had by all, and many meals and auction foods were shared in many households, and $5,000 was raised for the church. And Bob proclaimed, "That was a good start." And then Bob pointed to Barb and decreed, "You shall go forth and make it happen again next year." And Barb exclaimed, "What?" But Barb did persevere and went forth to gather more friends to help make it happen again in April of 2001. And it continued to happen every spring through 2019. And each year, the process got tweaked and automated a little more to make it easier for the buyers to buy, and for Barb to do all the prep and accounting. And nearly every year, there were more events and more auction items with more income and more fun generated. So many opportunities to meet new people and strengthen our sense of a welcoming community. And it came to pass that after 20 years of organizing the fabulously fun food fair fundraiser, in 2019, Barb decreed that the time had come for someone else to run the fair. And then appeared Elaine. And then came the pandemic of 2020, and there would be no food fair. How could we continue to build community when we couldn't eat together as we had been doing for so long. Elaine decreed that donations were to be sought for a post-pandemic party, and the people were generous and looked forward to a big party in the fall when we could celebrate our community and good food together. Yet, it was still not to be. The pandemic dragged on longer than anyone could have anticipated. And it was decreed that all should remain in their homes and limit social contacts for more than a year. Nonetheless, Elaine, being a person of vision and creativity, was not to be intimidated by a pandemic. And thus, in the year 2021, she created an online sale and auction as a whole new way of doing our beloved food fair. It included outdoor and virtual events, delivered meals and homemade goodies, and even some household items and clothing. Not doing that part again in the food fair. And of course, the wearing of masks. And it was good, though not quite as fabulous as when we could be together in person. So how do we measure the success of the food fair? By counting the hundreds of events held and auction items delivered over 25 years, which we haven't done, but Elaine and I have a plan to do a tally soon. Or you can measure the success in dollars raised to keep our building and community thriving. That number we have. It's, drum roll please, $306,680. Thank you all. Those are great numbers, but they are not necessarily the most significant or meaningful part of what we've done. What's been most important is that many of you have invited others into your homes or teamed up with friends who had more room or held your event at the church, or in a park, or on a river, or in a grand mansion, or on a farm, or atop a skyscraper downtown, or even at a bowling alley. And you contributed to the auction as you baked cakes and pies and cookies, or cooked meals for top bidders to pick up. And best of all has been all the connections that have been made or deepened with new friends and old. It's what we've learned from and about the people we call our beloved community. I hope we will all help to keep the fabulously fun food fair fundraiser alive long into the future. May it be so.
Bravo.
Please rise for our closing hymn, number 1010 in your blue hymnal. We give thanks. Precious day, for all gathered here and those far away, for this time we share with love and care. Oh, we give thanks for this precious day. Oh, we give thanks for this precious day. Gathered here and those far away, for this food we share with love and care. Oh, we give thanks for this precious day.
We extinguish our chalice, but not the flame in our hearts. May it ignite our energies, our drive, our resolve to build, to dream, and live into the world a more beloved community.
Loving Spirit, be our guest. Dine with us. Share our bread, that our table might be blessed and our souls be fed.
Soul of truth, eternal goodness, sojourn with us as we part. Fill our minds with high endeavor. Keep us just and pure in heart. Strengthen us for daily duty. Guide us by the inward light. Filled be each coming morning. Calm and peaceful be each night. Amen.